This Sunday marks 6 months since the devastating Asian tsunami. So many Americans opened their checkbooks, donating millions of dollars to help the survivors. But one Seattle man did much more, giving something that's impossible to put a price tag on. Early Show national correspondent Hattie Kaufman explains.
Take one look at Bill Crosby behind the wheel of his Hummer, and you know he's a take charge kind of guy. So last December, when he saw these images,
something just came over me where 1 minute I was just thinking about the tsunami. The next thing I knew, I was on my way to the devastation zone.
you don't know where you're going to stay?
No.
You don't know if it's safe?
No.
You don't know if the water is drinkable?
No, we didn't know any of that.
Within 2 hours of landing in Thailand, Crosby was helping remove the dead. Those images on television were horrifying for everybody, but I imagine they can't compare to what you saw in person.
No.
They don't prepare you.
No, I was completely unprepared to see thousands of bodies being autopsied. Basically, they were doing dental identifications, fingerprinting, and they had the bodies just laid out, and I was just moving them.
After a week of 16-hour days, Crosby passed out.
I physically collapsed, and fortunately, there were a lot of really good medical teams there, and they literally had me on a casket with 3 IVs in me, dumping salt down my throat.
Meanwhile, his wife Nancy was alone and worrying back in America.
I told him, you need to come home, you need to rest, because if you're not in good shape, you're not going to be able to help. And
he wouldn't listen to you?
No.
When he recovered, Crosby began delivering food to refugees stranded on remote islands north of Thailand. These refugee and aid services were providing help for some people, but there were others who were not being reached.
Exactly.
Isn't that right?
That's correct.
And you made it your mission to get the food to them.
Yeah, it didn't matter who it was. If they needed food, I brought them food.
He says he brought some 400 islanders a month's supply of food and water. You're buying this out of your own pocket.
Every bit of it, right down to the water. I mean, none of it was free. We especially focused on the books and toys for the kids. We would feed the families, but putting smiles on the faces of the kids put smiles on the faces of the parents, and they had a chance to maybe even just for a brief moment, things seemed normal to them.
When Crosby returned home to his life as a house painter near Seattle, he'd already done more than most volunteers could imagine. Now he's ready to do more, to finance his personal mission to aid tsunami survivors.
We're now planning our next trip to get back over there. I mean, if I left yesterday, it's too late.
He's already sold most of his possessions, and yes, the Harley and the Hummer are on the market.
I really don't feel the need to have all of this stuff anymore.
Look at the stuff. I mean, for the American male, you've got the ultimate muscle vehicle in the Hummer. And the Harley, are you ready to let that go?
I don't know that I'm ready to let that go. Come on.
Crosby has a wife and daughter. His commitment to help others has affected them all. In fact, Nancy joined him on his last trip to Thailand. Can a house painter and his wife make a difference? This problem is so huge.
I believe we can, and I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think so. I saw the people that we delivered aid to, and I would have to ask them, but I would say that they would answer you and say that, yeah, house painter and his wife can make a difference.
Certainly this one can. For the Early Show, Hattie Kaufman, CBS News, Seattle.